Tensions continued to rise between Buckingham and Nix. The success of rumors exposed the group to
Hello, hello. Thank you for joining me this afternoon. I am finishing up working on this Delft design on this pumpkin that we started yesterday. And I'm using Dixie Belle Satin Top Coat as my decoupage medium. The reason why I like to use the top coat as opposed to using, I can't even think of what it's called. Decoupage medium, Mod Podge, that is still widely used, and I just always advise people, when you use Mod Podge, it is not archival. It is not going to hold up over time. It's going to crack and yellow over time. So if you're doing a project that you would like to have survive, I recommend that you use a quality top coat. This is what you put on furniture when you're refinishing furniture. If you want a satin finish to it, this is the product that you would use. Dixie Belle also has a top coat that's flat, that doesn't have a sheen to it, and they have a top coat that's a high gloss. And all of those are archival. They are going to hold up for years and years and years. And it's a perfect medium for decoupage. So I'm finishing up, and I was thinking about this piece, and what I had thought about was top coating it using the satin is what I usually do. But then yesterday during the live, I was talking about that the top coats come in different finishes, and I thought, well, it might be nice if I just do this in the high gloss. I haven't used high gloss in a really long time, and I thought, well, that would look pretty on this. Then, as things happen, I was thinking about today's live and what I still needed to accomplish, and I thought, you know what? I like the high gloss idea, but I love Crackle even more. And I thought, I'm going to use the Pentart Crackle on this. I love the Pentart Crackle. It's a two-step crackle. But the finish is very porcelain-like. And I just thought, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I thought of that, because a porcelain finish on this piece would be just beautiful. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to finish this up today, and I'm going to finish it with the porcelain, with the Pentart two-step crackle. And I will take a look and see who's come on in just a second. I got a head start on this. I was thinking I would have it completely decoupaged by the time I went live, but I still have some more to go. Let's see who's here. Hi, Lynn. Hi, Nikki. Hi, Mary. Mary, no, I've never done a switch plate cover, but there's no reason you couldn't do one. It would be a really lovely thing to do. And you would have all of those finish choices, the flat, the high gloss, the satin, or the Pentart. So depending on what you wanted to have finished, but doing a plate cover would be a really nice project. Let's see, I don't have much. I've just got some little pieces to go on here. So I'll do this section here. Let's see, I've got some little pieces here that I've got. Let's see. No, I'm not loving that piece. I am loving this piece. Hi, Liz. Thanks, everybody. So, Mary, are you thinking about doing a light switch cover? So you can see I'm like getting down to places where I'm patching pieces on, like I need a piece here. And so I can kind of lay it on here and I can just pinch off. This pattern works out really well for this kind of a project because it doesn't have to be matchy-matchy on it. So I'm going to give it a light spritz. That just relaxes the tissue and makes it a little bit easier to just form. And I have it in place, so I'm just going to keep my fingers there to keep it in place. And I'm going to add some of the satin top coat. And then using a piece of saran wrap, any kind of plastic wrap, a Ziploc bag, anything that is going to prevent the texture on your fingertips from tearing your tissue will work just fine. And because I have crevices in this pumpkin between all the little sections of the pumpkin, the saran wrap helps me get it pressed down nice and flat. And if your tissue is overlapping on some that you've already put on there, that's okay because the pattern, as you can see right here, still shows through. So it's not like I have to, this is not a pattern tissue that I have to like match up. Some tissues that wouldn't work, but this one, when I designed this tissue, I didn't have this project specifically in mind because actually I just thought of this yesterday or day before yesterday, that it would be fun to do on a pumpkin. Okay, so we have this section over here. I'm just peeling it back to right there. It wasn't adhered down. It was just like laying down because I had sprayed it with a mist bottle, because it does relax your paper. And for something like this, you want it to be relaxed. I want to be relaxed. I'm going to give it another little mist. I'm not getting it wet, I'm just misting it. And I'll look at your comments in just a minute, you guys. See how easy that was? We have just a spot right there. So that little piece of flower that I tore off, I think will work nice there. I think I might have a few spots like that that I need to just, when we think we're done with it, I need to go back and just make sure. Just blend it in. So we're getting there. We have a little section here on this bottom. So when you're tearing your tissue, I like to use a watercolor paintbrush. They hold a lot of water. And that allows me to make a nice tear in the paper. And I'm making strategic tears right now because it's just an odd shape that I have left to fill in here. So now that I have it, I'm going to take a little bit more off on the bottom here. And I'm just setting these little pieces because there might be little pieces that I still need to fill in. So now I have this spot that I want to do. So I'm holding it with my finger. I'm going to give it a little mist to relax that paper. I'm going to pull it back. Put my medium on. And using the saran wrap, I'm just going to lay it down. Because I gave it that little mist, it lays down very nice. And I can rub pretty firmly on it because there's no texture with this saran wrap. And if you didn't see yesterday's live, this was an orange pumpkin. It was very pretty, just like it was, that I ran over to Hobby Lobby and bought yesterday. And then I painted it white using Dixie Belle cotton, which is the whitest white. If you have fluff on hand, that will work too. Or whatever white you have. And I did put the link in the description for this decoupage tissue. This is one of my Decoupage designs. And I did put the link in. That finished that bottom off really, really nice. Okay, so I have a little spot right there. That I'm just gonna stick a little piece on. I love decoupaging. And I showed everybody yesterday some really pretty napkins that I picked up at Hobby Lobby when I was there yesterday. Okay, there's a spot right there. And give it a little spritz. And it just blends right in. You wouldn't even know I was layering over on top here. So it's a pretty forgiving project. If you had kids you wanted to do a project with, you could do this. Not little kids, but like I could do this with my 10-year-old granddaughter. I do art with her all the time. We did some art this weekend. And I'll look at your comments in just a second, you guys. I know I'm just chattering along here. Let's see. Do I have any other little spots? I think that's it. Might be one little spot right there. Oh goodness, I have a whole section right there. Glad I looked again. Okay, let me check your comments first. Hi, Loretta. Well, Mary, I think it's a great idea. I had never thought of it, but that would sure be pretty. That would be a pretty thing to do for my guest bedroom. So maybe I'll run out and get a... It would be so easy. Just gave it a spritz. And all I'm doing now is just looking for any spots that I missed getting covered. And they're kind of hard to spot, which is a good thing. That means this is all blending in the way it should. I saw a spot and then, oh, there it is. And then there's one there, and then I think I've got it pretty much under control here. Let's see. Don't need a big piece. So that looks good. Just tearing a little piece that's overlapping there. Okay, I think, oh, we got a little piece right there. I keep thinking I've got it. It's really hard to spot, which is a good thing. Because ultimately, when I'm all done, if I missed a spot, it's probably not going to really matter. Okay, so yeah, I can do a live on it, Mary. I'm always open for suggestions. Anytime you guys have a request of what you would like to see done on a live, feel free to share. Because I'm always, I mean, as every single day goes by, I'm thinking about, okay, what am I doing in my life this week? And it's like I have a million things. I have the supplies and things to do a million things, literally. I'm going to just get my turntable down here. Well, maybe not. If I do, oh, I might. Hang on. But what I was saying is, if you guys have things, ideas, or projects that you would like to see done, feel free to mention it. I walk around my house on Mondays or Tuesdays and look at things and try to decide, what am I in the mood to do today? So that's how my brain operates. It's like, what am I in the mood for? And I take pictures of things, like when I see something on Pinterest that I like, that I think, oh, I might want to do that. I take pictures of things, and so on my TV, all of these pictures pop up every day. And I was looking at a few that were popping up today, and it was like, oh, I really like those. But I am personally trying to get into fall. It's a little hard when it's so stinking hot outside. Okay, so I'm just putting another coat of the satin top coat over the whole piece. We're just sealing this all up. So if I have any little loose pieces on here, this is going to catch them and seal it all up. And if you're wondering what's going on up here, I taped all of that. That's a really pretty brown stem and a really pretty like felt leaf. It's not a plastic leaf like they usually are. And so I just taped it up so it was out of my way, so because it was laying on the top of the pumpkin. So this just takes one coat. And if I was just going to use the high gloss or the flat, that's what this coat would be. And you know, if you know that you want your piece to have a high gloss or flat finish to it, you can use those same mediums to do the decoupage. You don't have to have a bunch of, you don't have to have a satin to decoupage with. When you want to have a flat finish or a high gloss finish, just whichever finish you want, use that for your decoupage medium. They all work. And what this is doing is it's putting a protective finish on here. So whatever other finish I put on here, this has been sealed and protected. Okay, I think I have done a pretty good job of that. And I need to dry it really, really well. So, talk amongst yourselves. Well, Lynn, if you think it looks like porcelain now, wait till I get the Pentart Crackle varnish on it. Then it, honest to goodness, will look like real porcelain. your comments, sometimes you've had problems with that. Sometimes it crackles and other times nothing. So is that using the Pentart Crackle, or is that using a different kind of crackle? Give me a little more information. Loretta, you bought a cheaply styrofoam pumpkin today at Dollar Tree? Oh, good. Styrofoam should work. Okay, Lynn, I'm using the Pentart two-step today, so you can watch me do it and see if you can identify what I do and what you do that might be different, because I've never not had it crackle. But you know, it's such a fine crackle that is it possible that you're just not able to see the cracks? Because I always rub some Dixie Belle Gilding Wax into the cracks, and I can show you a piece. I can grab a piece here in just a minute and show you what I'm talking about. So maybe it is crackling and it's just so fine you're not seeing it because you haven't rubbed anything into it to make it show up. I'm going to set that there for a minute. I'm going to grab that piece that has the crackle on it so you can see. Let me pull this camera up. Hello. Okay, so this has the Pentart crackle on it, the two-step. And you can really clearly see the crackle on here because I rubbed the bronze Dixie Belle bronze gilding wax into it, into the cracks. And let me see if there are cracks. There are, honestly, there are a few little cracks that cracked after. Actually, there's a lot of cracks. There are a lot of cracks on here that cracked after I put the bronze into it. Hi, Nancy. Yes, that paper that I'm using today is linked up at the top in the description. And it's for sale on both my Etsy and my my own personal website. So this is my advice. If you're just ordering decoupage tissue, like regardless of how many sheets you're ordering, and you don't need paint or any other supplies, then go order it on Etsy because your shipping will be less expensive. If you're ordering decoupage tissue and paint and any other supplies, then order it on my website. The website has a flat shipping rate regardless of how much you order. So if you're just ordering one tissue, that's too much shipping. Does that make sense? So I'm just saying, just to make life easy, if you only need tissue and you know you don't need anything else, go to my Etsy site to get it. If you need other supplies or you want to look for other supplies, because I got lots of cool stuff, then go to my website. And the links are up in the description. So let's see. Okay, so some look like this and others look as smooth as a baby's butt. Well, shoot. Okay, so you said no, there's nothing. I always rub powders into it. In fact, after I posted it, others commented on having the same issue. Huh. Well, okay, I hope we aren't going to be jinxed today because I used up, it goes a long ways, and I used up what I was previously using, and I bought bigger containers because I love this so much. And so I hope they didn't have like a bad batch out there. If that happened to you, then you should reach back out to whoever you bought it from and tell them you got a bad batch. And now I'm starting to be a little worried. Because I love this stuff. So it comes labeled Step 1, Step 2. And we're going to start with Step 1. And I don't think I have to stir it, but let me just be double sure. Apply the first component onto the surface. After complete drying, apply the second component using a brush or your fingers. The crackles can be highlighted by rubbing solvent-based coloring into the surface. Let dry for a day, then apply the Pentart solvent varnish to make the surface waterproof. Okay, so okay, just refreshing myself. It doesn't say anything about stirring anything up. And I'm going to give this one more quick dry because I really, really, really want it dry. Lynn, I am so sorry that happened to you. That would be so disappointing. And it's not cheap stuff. So I would just, you know, I would recommend that you go back to the person that you bought it from. I'm not a Pentart retailer. put the camera down, right? I forgot I put the camera up. There we go. I'm just drying, you guys. Okay, so I need to ask you guys to do me a really big favor. When we're on together live, will you just keep an eye on the people you see on my page? Because my page is under attack. And I'm getting like 10, 12, 15 posts a day where they're trying to scam my page. And I'm really, honestly, scared to death that one of these days I'm going to accidentally touch it and then they'll have access to my page and then they can steal it. And yesterday, while we were on here live, I saw, because you know, I'm looking at the comments and I can see when people have come on, and I saw 3 guys with foreign names, like Middle Eastern kind of names, on here. And so when I got off the live, I went back and looked and they had liked my page. So I went and deleted them. But I deleted about 10 of those scams yesterday, and I've been getting like 10 or 15 of them a day. And I report them to Facebook, and Facebook does nothing. And so I'm also working on my setup for being able to do my live simultaneously on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. I'm working on that process. I have the software. I just have to figure out all the ins and outs on it. And that way, if anything does happen, I haven't lost all my content because it's on other platforms. But it's really becoming a huge issue. I think Facebook is becoming a dangerous medium for creators. So I'm just trying to get the satin top coat off of my fingertips here. Bear with me a sec. Okay. All right, I don't feel any sticky, so hopefully I've given it enough drying time. All right, and it doesn't say stir, but that makes me nervous now. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a good stir. This has been sitting for a while. Okay, so this is part 1. Part 1. And all I have to do is just put one coat on. And I'll check your comments in just a second. And it's pretty amazing because I bought big jars the second time because I love this product so much. And I've had it for a long time because my smaller jars of it really did go far and lasted a long time. And I know there's lots of retailers that you can buy from. I got mine from L&J Goods, is who I bought the Pentart from. But I know there's lots of good sellers. And it also might have, you know, if it shipped during the winter and it got too cold or frozen, that might have had an effect on your product. I don't know. I'm just guessing since I've never had a problem, and now I'm scared. Just making sure I get a nice even coat on here. Okay, get the bottom side of it. I'll look at your comments in just a sec. Oh, with getting her site hacked? Yeah, I've known so many people that that's happened to, and it's scary as heck. And so if you guys, I mean, you know who comes on here, and if you see something that just doesn't look right, I would appreciate it if you would just bring it to my attention. I mean, I literally got out of bed last night because I don't know how those guys got, I saw them on my page, but they also did a friend request, and I did not accept their friend request, but when I went and looked, they were in my list of friends. So I don't know how that happened, but I got them out. And I don't know what they do with your page once they steal it. Okay, so I think I have a pretty even coat on here. So again, I got to dry, dry, dry. Yeah, Mary, be careful of friend requests. Well, welcome back, Lisa. I'm just drying. This needs to be dried really, really good. Taking a long time and it feels a little tacky, and now I'm a little nervous because I've never had a problem before, but I'm going to let it sit here for just a second and cool back down. Close off my container. So that was part one. Here's part two. Just look at the instructions again. After complete drying, apply the second component. I mean, I have never had a problem before, but now I'm nervous. Let's see. need to buy some new brushes. This one will probably be good. Hi, Lynn. Yeah, the second one is dark. But it will dry clear. Lynn, you've got me so nervous now. I need to go pour myself a glass of wine. That still feels not wet. It just feels a little tacky. And it's been a while since I've used it. And usually I'm not holding the piece in my hands. It's usually a piece laying on the table. Looks a little cloudy there. Well, this is the deal, you guys. Thank you, Lynn. I'm going to dry it a little bit more. And I know we've been on here for an hour now, but I want to at least get the second coat on. I don't want to drag this out to a third session. So if you ladies want to hang with me, talk amongst yourselves, that's awesome. If you are tired of listening to a hairdryer blowing and you need to get other things done, then yeah, you can hear the tacky, huh? Yeah, yes, what? Okay, Mary. Mary, if you're hanging, I'm hanging. You're so sweet. Yeah, it's right here. It fell off into my lap. Thanks, Lynn. My tape got a little... I need to tape my tape. One of our mutual friends, she came to the studio with you a few months ago. Okay, is everything okay? Thanks, Lynn. I think that tissue paper does a really good job for decoupaging a piece like this. So Mary, now you got me worried. Did something happen to our mutual friend? I think we're making progress, you guys. I'm going to let it cool. Okay, you've got my attention, Mary. I hope everything's okay. Yeah, this is feeling much better now. So I'm going to just let it cool down. I've got the ceiling fan going on above me. My AC is shut off because, you know, APS tells me I have to shut it off between 4 and 7 so I get a better rate, even though my AC bill was like $360 this month. So ridiculous. Oh, Lynn. Well, you know, before when I said it felt tacky, it feels like I would expect it, and I see it's very clear. It still has a slight tacky, but I think that's a normal, where before it was like more than just tacky. And I'm just letting it cool down, and then we'll give it a try. Because I've done this in a 1-hour class before, so we should be okay. Okay, we're gonna go for it. So I'm going to give this a stir, even though it doesn't say that. I just think that's odd not to have to stir your product, especially if it's been sitting for a while. Stir, stir, stir. Okay, cross your fingers and say a prayer, you guys. We're going in. Still looks a little milky right there. And because everything is shiny now, it's also hard to see where you start and finish. So that's a little tricky on a piece like this. Because I do know if you miss a spot putting this on and then you go to rub your gilding wax on, you'll see it right away that you missed a spot. So I'm trying to pay attention. Kind of pooled down there a little bit, so I just was like scooping it out. Whoever invented this process is a genius. That we can take a plastic pumpkin and put paper on it and then make it look like it's porcelain. Pretty smart. Okay, so while I'm painting this on, let's talk about, originally I was going to paint the stem on here. Originally I was going to paint it gold, a really pretty, really high shine gold. And then today when I got the idea to use the Pentart on here, then I was thinking about, okay, I don't want to put bronze in the cracks on this. This is what I want your opinion on. I could use gold in the cracks, and keep in mind they're very fine cracks, so I don't think it'll be overpowering. Or I could use silver gilding wax in the cracks and paint the stem a really pretty silver. So what do you guys, how do you feel about that? gold, gold, gold. Okay, you ladies made it really easy. It drains into the center there and pools. So I keep going in there and pulling it back out. Okay, I'm thinking I've gone all the way around. So now I need to go get my top done. And I'm just trying to make sure I got it on, because I did, you know, 3/4 the way down. Because if you miss a spot, you really see it when you go to rub that gold on. Okay. More drying. This is the last time we have to dry. Well, Lynn, thankfully it's not real heavy. There was a little, like, a drip there. I'm happy to report I am seeing crackles. Woohoo! Lynn, it's a dryer. I have a heat gun. I hardly ever use it because it's so stinking hot. And then I had one of those heat guns that were silent, and it burned itself up in like a couple of months. I was really annoyed. This is a Vidal Sassoon that I got at the Goodwill 5 years ago, and it's still going strong. I think that's a spot right there that I didn't get very much on. But it is crackling. I don't know if those are spots that I missed, but they look a little suspicious. And I'd rather just be safe than sorry. Lynn, you're so sweet. I appreciate you ladies hanging in here with me. I don't know if I'm just dabbing the same place, but there's like a dull spot there. for supper. I lost you there for a minute. I was trying to remove a comment about Camilla dropping out of the debate. Yeah, I love the high gloss on here too, Molly. Shrimp stir fry, yum, yum. How do you make your shrimp stir fry? That sounds delicious. The high gloss makes it look like real porcelain, doesn't it? You'd never know this was a plastic pumpkin. Okay, I'm gonna let it just cool down a bit while I dig out my silver, or my gold. We decided gold. Gold. Okay, so I'm just going to be using the Dixie Belle Gold Gilding Wax. I've had this for at least 4 years, maybe a little longer, and I've used it a lot. So that gives you some indication of how long it lasts. I'm just gonna get some on my fingertip like that. And I'm going to just start, I'm gonna stand up. Just rubbing it in to the cracks like that. And then I just take my paper towel and just brush it back. And it's leaving it right inside. Oh my gosh, the gold is super pretty, you guys. And you just want to do a section at a time. Don't go crazy and put all your gold on and then try to go back and wipe it off. Can you guys see the gold in there? Let me hold it up there so you guys can see. I don't know if I'm getting it in the camera where you need to see it or not. Let me get some more on here. So I dampened my paper towel, and it does not like that, so don't do that. I'm going to go get a microfiber cloth and see if it works a little better. Yeah, the microfiber cloth works nicer. You can use a fine powder to do this also. So Lynn, as far as you can tell, did we do anything different from each other? Well, let me hold this back up again and see if you can see these cracks, because they are filling in really nice. And I've always used paper towel in the past, but I don't know if it's because I rushed this or what, or I've never used gold. I've always used bronze, and it wants to stay on a little more, which is okay because the gold sheen on here is pretty. Let's see, so keep in mind they're really fine, like right there. Can you see? I think when I paint the gold on the stem, that will be really pretty too. So it looks like there's a spot right there where I didn't get enough medium on, so I want to avoid putting gold over the top of it. So I'm just going to go up above it. Lynn, I think it's because, I think it's the same amount. I think it's because on the rabbit one, I used bronze gilding wax. And the bronze was, the background of that tissue is kind of like a drop cloth color. In fact, it might have been drop cloth. It probably was drop cloth. So I just think it shows up. And these cracks will continue to crack for quite some time. So it wouldn't matter if I just did this today and then just let it sit overnight and then came back and did this gilding wax tomorrow. But it definitely cracked. I mean, it cracked as good as the rabbit did. I just think it's a little bit more challenging for the gold to show up on here. So let me get down here in the middle section and show you there, maybe. Another thought to share with you guys is that I went to Hobby Lobby to get a paper mache pumpkin because I've used those in the past. And they didn't have any. They did online, but they didn't have any in the store. And I don't know if that's just because the store just opened on Monday and maybe they just didn't have them out. But I liked the shape and size of this one, and it was 40% off, so I just grabbed it. But it's definitely got good cracking on it, you guys. You had me scared, Lynn. Molly, I waited too long. I don't know what you're agreeing to. I do that all the time. Well, Molly, you had me scared. Lynn, you had me scared. I was like, I hate it when things don't work out on a live. I mean, I remember the very first time I used this product. And I told everybody it was the first time and I'd never used it before. And so we were just going to see how it worked. And it took longer for those little cracks to show up than I thought they would. But boy, when they showed up, they show up. And then I was so thrilled with the result. But it's always a little scary to do something on a live like this. Lynn, don't ever feel bad. Don't ever feel bad. Especially because you weren't the only one. Somebody else said that they had seen other people having trouble too. So then it just made me question, is there like a bad batch out there? And I've had this probably, because it lasts a lot longer than you would think it would. And so I've had this unopened for probably a year because the other that I had lasted a long time. And so I was like, well, did I let it sit too long? But this has got nice crackle, you guys. It's probably hard to see on the camera. I'll hold it back up there in just a second. And the gold is leaving just a slight gold sheen on it, but in the light that looks really pretty. So let me see. Are you guys able to see it? I know you can see the gold sheen, but I'm not sure if you can see the actual crackle. Yeah, you sort of can. It shows up much better on my end. And tomorrow when I get it all crackled, I'll try to take a really good picture of it. I might have to take it out into the daylight. Okay, so this is a really good spot. Let me see if I can get that up in the camera. Is that showing? Yeah, that shows much better. So that's what it's looking like all over. And then it still has kind of a gold sheen because not all of the gilding wax wipes off. Okay, and there's a spot right there that I didn't get enough on, and looks like a whole little area there, and the gilding wax will just stick really hard. So I'm going to just avoid that area. I think tomorrow I'll go back over it with some more of the stuff. I was trying to see I think what I'm going to do is just stop at this point and let it continue to crack, and then tomorrow I'll take a nice picture of it and post it up for you guys. But I am liking it. And then tomorrow I will also paint the leaf, not the leaf, just the stem on here with the gold. And I think it'll look pretty. So let me put the camera up. Molly, you were driving home? Yes, it's Pentart. It's Pentart Crackle, the 2-step. This is step 1. And this is step 2. Thanks, Lynn. I'm happy with it too. I think it doesn't show up on the camera because the light catches that gold on there and makes it look yellowish, and it doesn't look like that in person. So I think I'm gonna just stop for the night and continue on it tomorrow, and then I'll post a picture tomorrow of it finished. In parts where the gold stays on there on the surface is actually pretty because it just adds a real pretty sheen. So I'm gonna say goodnight. Thank you guys so much for hanging in here. That was a long time. You guys hung in here for 2 hours today. That was a long time. I'll take pictures tomorrow and post it for you guys, and you guys have a great evening. I appreciate you so much. You have no idea how much I appreciate you. Well, Lynn, I'm so sorry about that. You should, it has a lot number, and you should just contact whoever you bought it from and give them that lot number and tell them it was defective, because it's not cheap, and it's not cheap to begin with, and then you've put all that time and effort into your project and not have it work. That's really disappointing. So I would report it. All right, you guys, have a great night. Thanks so much. Bye.